Hey everybody, this is Lexi, and thank you all so much for tuning into my channel once more. Today's topic is make it easy for your producer. Do these things to make your lyrics easy to produce around. If you haven't seen my other video, I have my song, What Do I Do Next in Order to Start? I mentioned about writing lyrics before having an instrumental. In this video, I want to get into a little bit more detail about making sure that you're structuring your lyrics to make it as easy as possible for your producer to create around your song. It's sometimes difficult to think about when you're in the creative mood, but keep these 5 things in mind when you're writing your lyrics: vibe, tempo, key, structure, and communication. So the first thing to think about is going to be the vibe. Now, even though you don't have an instrumental to listen to right now, you're still imagining what kind of song you're writing. So think about the type of mood that you're in, and you really want to be aware of the mental state and the emotional state that you're feeling as well. Are you thinking about making a happy song, an emotional song, a ratchet song? It really just depends on the type of song you're writing to determine what the vibe of that instrumental is going to be. Self-awareness and paying attention to your emotional state is very important. For me personally, every time I sit down to think about the vibe of a record, I think about how I'm feeling that day, what I went through, if there's something that's been on my mind for a while that I've always wanted to get out, and then I determine what the vibe of my song is going to be based on that. Writing is my therapy, the microphone is my therapist. Once you figure out what vibe you want for your song, this is going to determine if it's going to be fast or slow. And this is probably the most important part about writing lyrics without an instrumental. You want to make sure that you have a specific goal in mind as far as how fast or slow you want the song to be. Keep in mind that using a metronome is going to be very helpful here. A metronome is basically just a counter that's going to help you stay on beat and stay on rhythm. And it's also a good way to translate the tempo to your producer, if you want it to be fast or slow. A higher number BPM means you're going to have a faster song, and a lower number BPM means that you're going to have a slower song. So you really want to make sure that you're using a metronome and you know how many beats per minute, how many BPM your song is going to be. So now let's talk about the key of the song. Now, this is something that will not break you if you don't yet know how to tell which key you're singing in, but it is something that is important to have a general idea of how to follow along, how to follow the guidelines of the key of a song. It's going to be very difficult for a producer to produce around your lyrics if your notes and your pitch are all over the place. So again, if you saw my other video, then this is where practice really does make a big difference. Record yourself on your phone, record yourself on camera, sing for someone in your family, a friend, or even a stranger if you're comfortable, to get some feedback and be able to critique yourself to make sure that you are able to stay within the key of a song. A good way for you to practice to see if you are good at staying on key would be to simply sing your favorite song, maybe from the radio or something that you heard on YouTube or SoundCloud. Sing your favorite song and then play back the acapella to hear if you stayed on key, if you're matching the artist, or if you're maybe having some trouble staying on pitch. Same thing if you have someone listening to you. If they tell you that you're off, then you know what you need to practice on. Something else to consider when you're writing your song is you want to make sure that you have a good structure. When you listen to songs that are on the radio, there's a theme. There's usually a catchy hook. There are verses surrounding that hook, telling a story, right? And they're not as common now, but there might be a bridge or a breakdown towards the end of the song. Structure is really all about song flow. Now, depending on what the purpose of your record is, you may not even have to necessarily worry about the structure. Just make sure that you communicate that with the producer. If it is mainstream or single potential, something that you could see playing on the radio, it's a better idea to make sure that you're following some sort of structure. The reason for this is that people tend to not be able to follow a song if the structure is not right. And if people can't easily follow a song and be able to predict what's going to happen next, they're less likely to want to sing along, they're less likely to want to buy. So that's why structure is so very important. Last but not least is going to be communication, which is without a doubt the most important part about speaking to a producer about creating an instrumental or a beat around your lyrics. You've figured out the key, you know the tempo, you know the structure, and you know the vibe of the record. Great. But if you can't communicate that to the producer, how are you going to get what you want? You have to be able to communicate with the producer what kind of vibe this song is going to have. Explain to the producer how you want it to make people feel. Explain how you want it to make you feel when you listen to it. The thing that's really hard about creating a track around acapellas that are not on key, or you can't tell the tempo, you don't know what kind of song it is, you can't just give that to a producer and expect them to be able to give you something that's quality. You are paying the producer, you are the client. So it's the producer's job to make sure that you get what you want and that you're satisfied. That's what being an artist is about. In this sense, it's all about you and it's all about what you want. But if you don't know what you want, it's going to be really hard for the producer to give you a product that you can be proud of. So to review the 5 things that will make it easier for your producer to be able to produce around your lyrics, we have key, we have tempo, structure, vibe, and communication. These things are going to make it so much easier for your producer to make sure you get what you want. As long as you keep these things in mind while you're writing your lyrics before having an instrumental, it's going to be a much smoother transition from your head to what the producer can give for you. All right, everybody, so that wraps it up for this video. If you found this in any way helpful or useful to you, please don't forget to click like. Also, comment below and tell me what you liked about it, what you found helpful, or if you have any additional questions, also leave those in the comment section. As always, thank you so much for watching. It is all about you, the artist, so I'm answering any questions you have about artist development, engineering, or just being in the studio in general. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and I'll keep more coming your way. Till next time.